Hey guys, Peyton Nix with Evo Duelist again. We made top 8 at fucking Columbus. So I played Hoenna Kyte with a God card, Arbor Carbuncle again. And yeah, I'll go through the list, explain the combo a little better at the end, because the last profile I went through the list and didn't really give a good show of how it works. So we'll just go into it. Hoenna Kyte. Still think it's the best deck, even though it's not in the finals. I think the two decks in the finals they're both Jilly and Corona, but I think they just beat this deck. So I still think this is the best deck though. So anyways, we'll get into the list. So 3 Carbuncle, God card. If you don't know what this does, when it's bounced to the hand, it searches itself. And if you have 3, you can expel all 3 from your hand, untap 2 shards, and draw 2 cards. So I wanted to play it because, one, it thins your deck like 4 cards, and how do you win the mirror? You win the mirror with Hidden Lab. So this thins 4 cards because it gets 2 out of your deck and then it draws 2 more. But yeah, I'll show the combo later. It's really good. And you have Kite, so you can bounce it every turn. Even when you see it late, it's not too bad. 3-fill Golem 1, just to get your early Golem plays live when you do the Carbuncle combo. And more for consistency stuff, we have 3 Jealousy. It's not bad when you Carbuncle, because Carbuncle is inherently a neg-1 because you use 3 cards to draw 2, but it also untaps 2 shards, so you're basically negging a card to untap 2 shards. So it's like a card that says, pay 1, untap 2 shards. So we play a lot of draw cards to mitigate that. So we play the 3 Jealousy. It boosts consistency a lot. There are some times where you kind of have a bunch of cards that don't do anything, but that's only bad when you're on the clock. But since you're playing all these little guys, you have a lot of tempo a lot of the time, which most Hoenna Kyte decks can't deal with. Then 3 Devourment. A lot of times you're just sacking it with Lab over and over and over to keep drawing cards, because you can run low on cards with Carbuncle, but like I said, you play a bunch of cards to mitigate it. And then 3 Yami, God card. Insane, especially with Carbuncle. So you ditch your 3 drops with Carbuncle or Kite to bounce Carbuncle to search itself, and then on your turn 2 you can bring something back and then also play another 2-drop, or play a 2-drop and then bring something else back. Then 3 Dust Strike. A lot of people are playing Royal Reflection today, so this card was actually pretty fucking trash, but since we're playing a very low curve deck, this is going to be live a lot, so I just figured I'd play 3. It made sense. And Shadows, get back Sylphia. Gargoyle, Watchwoman, it's really good. There was actually one time someone popped my Fill Golem 1, and he had Juggernaut. Or was it Juggernaut? I don't know. But I sent Indolence. No, he had a Guardhound, and I had lethal if I got rid of the Guardhound. So I sent the Golem of Indolence with Fill Golem 1 that he destroyed, which he shouldn't have. Had this in my hand, so I grabbed it back, killed the Guardhound, and swung for game. So even if you're not getting Sophia, this card can be pretty insane. Then 3 Lab, it's how you win the mirror, and how you keep drawing cards. With Carbuncle, like I said, your hand runs low. And then 3 Kazi. So I was testing some, and I was kind of worried about aggro matchups, but this really should have been something else. It should have been the card that's in my side deck, which I'll get to later. But yeah, these were dead way too often, unless I was playing an aggro deck. I did play an aggro deck one round, it was Liam Corona, and it did save me, but really it was bad the rest of the day. The only thing it was good for was thinning your deck of another card, which isn't bad. But a lot of times I was literally activating it for free just to draw a card. Statue, kind of a staple now, put back Devourment, and then, like I said, you need to draw cards with Carbuncle. You turbo through your deck, you get Sylphia and Hidden Labs, and that's how you win games. 3 Avarice, best 3-drop. You really want to ditch this with Kite, this with Kyte in certain matchups, and this with Kyte if you happen to open it after Mulligan. Usually you Mulligan it away if you open it. But we just played one of this to send with Phil Golem 1. And then this is what you really want to discard off Kite, because you can Yami this back, play Lab, get 6 counters, or in the best case scenario, you can Rudy this back if you open the 1-drop, and then you have to Carbuncle into Yami and have already discarded Avarice, and then you can Rudy into Avarice and rip 2 cards on the turn 2. So that's pretty nuts. It didn't happen today, but it did happen at regionals, at the last regional when I was playing this deck. But at Rudy into Lab happened a couple times, which that's like basically an auto win. Indolence, it was mainly a Juggernaut out, but it didn't kill any Juggernauts. They always had an answer for it, so that was kind of bad. But like I said, it won me that one game just because I sent it with Fail Golem 1. Miasma, more for like aggro. Like I said, your curve's really low. But yeah, this is a really good removal spell. It like saved your ass quite a bit, saved my ass quite a bit. And then Sophia wins games by itself, getting banned, RIP. 2 Watchwoman, yeah, just wins games. It's a staple, everybody's playing it. Then 1 Garga. I'd play 2 if I could find the room. Maybe, because I wouldn't play Kazi with this anymore, so maybe this would bump up to 2, and then the other card I have in my side deck would just be a 2-of. But like, I mean, this format solves, the whole format's going to change once that 2 drops. And then 1 Vengeance, it's kind of like a finisher. You'd think like you wouldn't play this card since your curve is so low, but it's really good against water because you can play it, force bounce spells, and still rip a card. It's really good. It helped me push for a game a lot, so it was definitely worth it in the deck. That's the main deck. Shards, obviously. 3 Crystal. And a Corona. And then the sideboard, 3 Sharbies for when you have to go aggro, 1 Acid Monger. I thought I'd side this in the mirror some, but it just isn't that good, really. So I only sided it in against like light matchups, mainly Liam. Aron I didn't even side it in for. And then the card that Kazi should have been was this card, because when I sided it in, it was insane, especially in time scenarios, because you get to untap a shard when he attacks, and they have to play cards to win. So they can't like use interaction to get rid of it, or they can't play units. And if they can't play units, you win anyways. So this really helps you in time. And since your curve is so low, Kazi's dead a lot, and this would just help with tempo, I think. And another thing, after your turn 2 Carbuncle combo, on turn 3, you can also, since we're playing a lot of 2-drops, if you can play a 2-drop, have 1 mana up, and then he can attack, untap a mana, and then you can play 2 2-drops on turn 4, which is really good too, which is kind of like the theme. Play more cards than you're supposed to. 1 Royal Reflection for Liam and Aron. Yeah, that's it. Greyhawk and Natsu. Honestly, before the tournament started, I was getting a little anxious about Carbuncle. I don't know, just because it's kind of spicy, and I haven't tested it against a bunch of other decks other than Hoenna, so I wanted these as like a backup plan. If I wanted to just go to like a standard list, it never happened. I think I sided in the Natsu one because it's decent for time. Yeah. And then for aggro matchups, 3 Poison, 1 Strike for going second. Then Demon of the Evil Eye. If I ever saw like Mono Air, which I did round 1, but that was the only time. And it was I dominated it, so I didn't even side it in, I don't think. But yeah, that was the theory for that. That's the deck, so I'll kind of show the combo. So this is like the ideal hand for the Carbuncle combo. Obviously you're not going to get it every time, it'll vary. Like, so these can kind of sub in for Rudy, and then the Jealousy can sub in for Hidden Lab or the Argent Tower. Wherever it is. But, So what you do is you turn 1, you play Carbuncle, you discard Rudy with Kite, and then untap a shard, bounce this, search it, play your 1-drop, because Kite untaps your 1 shard, and then turn 2, you draw a random card. Really, hopefully it'd be like an Avarice or something you'd want to discard. I'll just actually. And then I tend to keep this card up to keep my my Golem triggers live during the Carbuncle stuff. So you'd Carbuncle, discard, Kite, get the 3rd. And then, so you're still at 2 mana because Kite untapped the 1 shard you paid. So what you do is you just go ahead and Yami back the Rudy. So you paid your 2 mana, then you Carbuncle 2, you draw 2 cards, and then play the Hidden Lab for 6 counters. Now keep in mind this is turn 2, so if you go first, they cannot do a single thing about it at all. And even if it wasn't Rudy, it would still be Avarice, rip a card into Lab for 2 on turn 2. Or if they played a 1-drop, you could either play the Lab and then sack the Fail Golem 1, maybe after attacking, and then send the Allurement and then bring it back and take their 1-drop. But yeah, that's how it works. It's really, really good in the mirror because Hoenna has a really hard time dealing with boards, whereas it's a really tough matchup against Water because they have so many board clears. But against Hoenna, this card just puts you so far ahead because you win with Hidden Labs, and when you play this card, you see Hidden Lab more. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you haven't. Yeah, have a good one.